Hey, hi. It's been a bit of time that I have come in for live. I thought, last time I came in, it was on last Saturday. So I thought, I will come live and see. And today I took as a subject for us to discuss. So what I took today is I just want to know what your definition of happiness is, because that was something that I have been listening to lately, reading about it. So I just thought, I will do kind of like we can do a chit chat on what is each person's perspective of happiness. And if you have a particular perspective, what is your definition of happiness? You can comment in, and then we can discuss about it. And I will say, what is my definition of happiness? My definition of happiness is if peace of mind. Peace of mind is my definition of happiness. If I am having that peace, then I would say that I'm a happy person, and that's my definition of happiness. What is your definition of happiness? Comment and let's talk about it. Hey, good morning. How is it going? എന്തുണ്ട് വിശേഷം? Hello. എന്തുണ്ട് വിശേഷം? അപ്പോൾ ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ടോപ്പിക് ഹായ് ഹേ ഹായ് അപ്പോൾ ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ടോപ്പിക് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഹാപ്പിനെസ്സിനെ കുറിച്ചിട്ടാണ്. സൂപ്പറായി ഇருக்கு. താങ്ക് യു. So today we are discussing on the topic of happiness, definition of happiness. I know it's a very, very subjective and personal matter, so I just... Hey, hi, Henry. So we are discussing on this topic of happiness, because everybody, in one way or other, the ultimate goal is to be happy, right? So I thought why not we pick that topic and start a discussion about it and see what... Hi, Hattie. What you all think about happiness? What is your definition of happiness? You can comment below, because some people would say that money can bring them happiness, but for me, but money can bring you a long term happiness. For everything you have to pay for it, and still, money is a factor in happiness, but it cannot be the whole point. Hi, Sagar. അപ്പോൾ അതാണ് ഞാൻ ഇന്ന് ചൂസ് ചെയ്തൊരു സബ്ജക്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. സോ hi, Via. Am I pronouncing your name right? My mood is also happy, because that is what we ultimately live for, right? So I am also happy. I'm glad to know that you are happy too. Where are you from, Sagar? Yes, because recently a lot of things are happening. Jabalpur. Oh, okay. I'm currently in Canada. For you, happiness is love, Henry. That's good. Yes, where there is love, there is happiness always, right? Where love leads things, money, wealth, happiness, everything follow love. That is the speciality of love. And I also since you mentioned that, I recently heard a story about, I will tell a story. In that story, there was a. So true, Anuja. Same with me too. Yes, happiness is all about having that peace of mind. That's exactly like, what I was also telling. Yes, as long as you have that mental peace, that is happiness, because even that is the biggest blessing. Even everything that we have, we should be grateful. There, I love Indonesia. Nice. So there was this story about a lady, and when she was looking out of her window one day, she saw three old men sitting near a tree. And then she looked at them. When she looked at them, she could see that they were all tired. And then she was wondering, what if, it was a hot summer day, and what if they are tired. So she went to them and asked them, can you come in my home and I can offer you some tea and snacks? And then the old man said, no, we cannot come in until and unless you discuss with your family members about having us. And then she said, like, she went inside and discussed with her family and said, I saw three people, three old men sitting outside of our home, and they look very tired. Can I invite them in? And then her husband said, yes, of course you can invite them in. And then she went out and told this old man that, I discussed with my family and they are okay to have you people come over. I can make something for you. Then the old man said, like, one old man stood up, and then she asked, like, I want all three of you to come. And then they said, we three cannot, like, come at once inside a house. You have to pick one among us. And then they will introduce them as, like, love, happiness, and wealth. Love, fame, and wealth. That's how they will say that one person was love, the other person was fame, and the third person was wealth. And then she said, like, at a time only one of us can come inside your house. And then she would say, and then the old man will tell her, you can go inside again and discuss with your family and see whom you want to invite in. And then when she go back and discuss with her family, her husband would say, okay, ask the wealth to come in, because we need wealth. And then her son would say, no, mom, let's invite fame, because when fame comes in, we will have, like, wealth. And then we always will have the love. And then she was, like, thinking about it, and she kind of, like, was debating in her head, do I need to call wealth or fame? And finally she went out, and when she was inviting, she would say, love, I would love to invite love to my home. And then, to her surprise, when she invited love, when he was coming in, the rest too followed. So, where there is love, there is always going to be happiness, wealth, and fame. Yes, that is so true, because at times where world is heading towards, it's always good to have a faith, because I also believe in that there is always a protector all about us, who is how to brain control. For us, I didn't understand. Life is going great, amazing. India. Yes, I am from India. Yes, I am from India. I'm originally from India, and now I'm in Canada. Yes, because when you trust in God, that is very, very, very valid point, Tech Viva, because once you believe in once you believe in God, then it's kind of like a different peace of mind. There is no problem in our life that God cannot solve. There is no problem in life. God will not give us any problem in life that we cannot solve, because if we are faced with any challenge in life or any problem, it's that God is making us stronger to achieve what we want in our life. Because we might be wishing for things, but we may not be prepared for that. And whenever a challenge or problem comes in our life, it's actually God's way of preparing us for the next level. Irana, nice meeting you. Henry, who is Lily? Yes, that's how I believe. That's what I believe too. Thank you. Thank you very much, Tech Viva. And I greatly appreciate you joining the live too. Okay, so that's how things are. Okay, so yes, faith can be one thing that that would help us to be in track. I also believe in, because when you actually, it's a way of bringing in positivity into our life. I also very much believe in that, because I'm also very what I would it's I believe in God and I fear God, and I'm a God fearing person, and I ultimately believe in him and his timing in everything that I do. So there are many point in my life I always felt that that's going to be the end of my life, but there always he always brought in somebody, I strongly believe in that. I strongly believe in God. Yes, yeah, he's responsible for everything. And so that is God. Happiness actually is equal to God. Then there are few people who doesn't believe in God, but goodness is God, because there is always two forces, equal forces. For every force there is an equal and opposite force, and that's how our universe exists, and that's how that's how the world is made. That's a very very fundamental fact. So if you believe in good and bad, that means everything has that two side, right? So if you believe in evil, then you have to believe in good too. Yes. No other people have any so that's how. And Henry, how is things going with you? Okay, yeah. If you are somebody new on the live, comment what is your definition of happiness. എൻ്റെ ലൈവിൽ ബേസിക്കലി എൻ്റെ ചാനൽ ഒരു മലയാളം ചാനലാണ് കേട്ടോ. അപ്പം എനിക്കറിയില്ല, എനിക്ക് കാണാനും കഴിയില്ല ആരാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ലൈവിൽ എൻ്റെ കൂടെ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തേക്കുന്നതെന്ന്. സോ നിങ്ങൾ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ കമൻറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിച്ചേക്കുന്നതിന് കമൻറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് ആ ടോപ്പിക്കിനെ കുറിച്ച് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാം. ഇന്ന് ഞാൻ ചൂസ് ചെയ്തേക്കുന്ന സബ്ജക്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഹാപ്പിനെസ് ആണ്. ടുഡേ ഐ ഹാവ് ചോസൻ ഹാപ്പിനെസ് ടു ഡിസ്കസ്, ബിക്കോസ് Hi, Ashwin. Oh, having coffee at Tim Hortons, that is my way of happiness too. That is a different level of happiness. Seriously, I really love that time. I don't know, there is something back വെൻ ഐ അല്ല ഞാൻ എന്തിനാ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് ചില സമയത്ത് ഞാൻ ചിന്തിക്കാറുണ്ട്. കാരണം ഞാനും നാട്ടിലായിരുന്നപ്പോഴത്തേക്കും എനിക്കത് അത്ര അറിയത്തുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. പുറത്ത് പോയി ഇങ്ങനെ ഇങ്ങനെ ചായയൊക്കെ കുടിച്ച് എൻജോയ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. പക്ഷേ ഇവിടെ വന്നതിന് ശേഷമാണ് ഞാനത് ശരിക്കും ശരിക്കും ആസ്വദിക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങിയത്. അവിടെ പോയിരുന്ന് കുറേ ആൾക്കാരെയൊക്കെ കണ്ട് അവിടെ ഭയങ്കര ഒരു പോസിറ്റീവ് എനർജിയാണെന്ന് എനിക്ക് തോന്നിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. കോഫി ഷോപ്പിൽ പോയിരിക്കുന്നത് എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ഇഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട കാര്യമാണ്. ഞാൻ ഞാൻ സ്റ്റുഡൻ്റ് ആയിരുന്നപ്പോഴും ഒറ്റയ്ക്കായിരുന്നപ്പോഴും ആക്ച്വലി ലൈക്ക് മിലാൻ വരുന്നതിന് മുന്നേ വരെ ഞാൻ ഒരുപാട് സമയം സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു ടൈമായിരുന്നു ടിം ഹോർട്ടൻസ്. എനിക്ക് ടിം ഹോർട്ടൻസ് ഈ ന്യൂ ബ്രൺസ്വിക്കിൽ വന്നതിന് ശേഷമാണ് എനിക്ക് ടിം ഹോർട്ടൻസ് കാണാത്ത ദിവസമുള്ളത്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എൻ്റെ ലൈഫിൽ വെറുതെ എങ്കിലും അവിടെ വരെ പോകുന്നത് എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ഒരു പോസിറ്റീവ് ഫീലിംഗ് ആയിരുന്നു. എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ഇഷ്ടമാണ് അവിടെ ചെന്നിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ആൾക്കാരെ കാണുന്നത്. ആ ഒരു അറ്റ്മോസ്ഫിയർ തന്നെ എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര സന്തോഷം തരുന്ന ഒരു അറ്റ്മോസ്ഫിയറാണ്. യെസ്, അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാനത് എഗ്രി ചെയ്യും. ഹാവിങ് കോഫി അറ്റ് ടിം ഹോർട്ടൻസ് ഈസ് ഓൾസോ മൈ വേ ഓഫ് ഹാപ്പിനെസ്. പിന്നെ എനിക്ക് എന്താണ് പറയുന്നത്, അത് വളരെ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആയിരുന്നു കേട്ടോ. ദാറ്റ്സ് റിയലി നൈസ് അശ്വന്ത്. ഐ റിയലി ലൈക്ഡ് ഇറ്റ്. അത് അത് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ തന്നെ എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ഒരു സന്തോഷം വന്നു. ഞങ്ങളിവിടെ ആയത് കാരണം കൊണ്ട് അങ്ങനെ സിറ്റിയിൽ പോയി പണ്ട് ഞങ്ങളങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുമായിരുന്നു. ഒണ്ടാരിയോയിലായിരുന്നപ്പോഴത്തേക്കും ആണെങ്കിൽ ജോലിയൊക്കെ കഴിഞ്ഞ് എന്താണ് പറയുന്നത്, കാരണം ഞങ്ങളുടെ വീടിൻ്റെ തൊട്ടടുത്ത് ടിം ഹോർട്ടൻസ് ആയിരുന്നു. ഞങ്ങൾ എപ്പോൾ എവിടെ താമസിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാലും ടിം ഹോർട്ടൻസിൻ്റെ അടുത്താണ് ഞങ്ങൾ വീട് റെൻ്റ് എടുക്കുന്നത്. എന്നിട്ട് ലൈക്ക് കാരണം എനിക്ക് എപ്പോഴും ടിം ഹോർട്ടൻസ് കാണുമായിരുന്നു. ചില ദിവസങ്ങളിൽ രാവിലെയൊക്കെ എഴുന്നേൽക്കുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് വട്ടായിട്ടായിരിക്കും എഴുന്നേൽക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇങ്ങനെ ടിം ഹോർട്ടൻസിൽ പോയി ഒരു ചായയൊക്കെ മേടിച്ച് വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും ഐ ഫീൽ കാം ആൻഡ് കൂൾ. അതെ. ഇപ്പോൾ ലൈവിൽ ആരൊക്കെയാണ് ഉള്ളതെന്ന് എനിക്ക് കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടായേ. അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ കമൻറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്കിതുപോലെ വർത്തമാനം പറയാം. കാരണം എനിക്കാണെങ്കിലുണ്ടല്ലോ ഈ ഒരു ഫീച്ചർ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചത് വലിയൊരു സന്തോഷമായിട്ട് എനിക്ക് ഫീൽ ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട് കേട്ടോ. കാര്യം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മൾ വീട്ടിൽ Manny being yes, that is also very true. That is really true. Because when you are somebody who, when we have to pretend or put on a mask, it is kind of like you are doing injustice to yourself. That is also something, yes, being ourselves. Because sometimes when we have to pretend or fit into some places to kind of like blend in, we kind of feel fraud, like we feel like we feel guilty after that because we know inside that that's not us. So that is also, yes, I agree with you. Actually, I really I'm liking this kind of lives when I'm coming in, because you get to see a lot of different perspectives, right? So who else is there? And I can see from my end, I can see 5 people on the live with me. So if you guys want to talk like about happiness, we can talk about happiness and be happy. Take some happiness into our life for today. Um, ഹാപ്പിനെസ്സിനെ കുറിച്ച് എനിക്ക് കാരണം ആരെങ്കിലും കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ? കാരണം നമ്മൾക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ എനിക്ക് റെസ്പോൺസ് വരാത്തത് കൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ so true, because who are you telling, like I am somebody who spends like 99% of my time indoor. And I really like I thought it was only me, but I cannot tell you how much I enjoy the views from my windows. My windows, the view, the beauty of the things that I see. And sometimes I post in Instagram like the views that I get from my window. And even my husband started asking me, are this the only things that is making you happy? But that is the truth. Sometimes when you watch that stillness from your comfort zone, that is also a happiness. I really love sightseeing from a window. I really don't want to be out there, like, being in the comfort of my house, staring outside into this world and, seeing all that stillness. That is also a happiness. Yes, that is also true. So, that's what our definitions of happiness is, which is really interesting, right? See, when like, I never knew like these features before. I always, these were times that I kind of like, either doom scroll or, do something unproductive. But I really am liking this kind of interaction because I am at the comfort of. Yes. Oh, that's good to know. People watching, I would love to read that book because, sometimes when they say that, when you read a book, actually you are gaining the years worth of research or knowledge somebody have accumulated in a book. I really love reading book, but these days I am a little bit behind that because, that is a habit I should start picking back again. These days, it's really hard. It's a bit hard for me to focus. I might start reading it, and then after a page or two, I have to stop. But before, when I was in my college, in my school, I can even finish a book in a day or two. But these days, it's really being hard for me. But I really would love to research about that book. Thank you for suggesting. After I read, I will post in my community tab about the book. Just holding myself accountable. Yes, that's how things are. Thank you. Yes. That okay, I think this is now giving me a video idea to do. There were like, because happiness is also something that we do have like a misconception of happiness too. Oh, thank you very much, Shashi. I really thank you. Sometimes, there is one misconception that I have seen about happiness is that people think that you have to be always happy. No, this is life. We cannot be happy always. It's kind of like a mix. You cannot always be the happily ever after or happily, like, it's just in the movies. You cannot never expect life to be kind of like some kind of a movie. When I used to be in the college, like, sometimes when you watch some movie you get very much influenced, right? So my dad always used to tell me, like, this is the one thing that he told me, and it always that stuck in my head. He told me, like, in movie they are just showing you something that started in the middle, like, it's not showing you the full picture. Anything can happen in 2 hours, but life, it's not that 2 hours. That life cannot be defined in that 2 hours. So, they, whatever they are showing in the film, is not like practical, like, even though it's like being shown as quickly happening, that is not the reality. In real life it may take how long we cannot say, because each person is following their own timeline. Because, if you are somebody who believe in the fact that, everybody starts, one thing that I noticed about comparison is that, when you feel like comparing yourself to another person, just think about this. God chose our birthdays to be unique. You are not born on the same day, same time, with the same identity as the other person. So, God created you as a unique person with a unique timeline. That's why you were born on a specific day. Yes, so sure. No, so true. You're 100% right. It's all about like balancing. We cannot never too much of anything is not good. Like that is what the Hindu mythology also said, right? Amrit is something that considered to be so valuable, but something so divine. But even that divine thing wasn't good. Too much of anything is like not good. There is always a fine line. It's like our duty, that is what the beauty of life is. It's always up to us to find that fine line where that balance lies for us, because what is too much for us may not be, maybe like too little for somebody else. So each of us is like very different. So yeah, that is so true. Thank you, Manny, for sharing it. Yes, so I really love this kind of like interaction, just to know, like, this is actually like expanding my knowledge, hearing different things and different perspectives. That is what we should all be gaining too, because, I cannot be always having that ego that I am 100% right. Whatever I say is right. Because, when you come into an open discussion like this, you meet a lot of interesting people with interesting personalities. And yes, childhood cinema. Yes, because I was a very dreamy person growing up. Okay, like I had a special love for these books and films, and I kind of like live in a fantasy world of myself. I kind of like read books, and if I start reading a book, I will be like living in that fantasy world. So like I used to get very much inspired with some, I think it was one time with a dressing style or something, that I had fight with my mom that I wanted to try out that fashion or style, like so badly. And then she had a very hard, I was a teenager at that time, and she was like very having a very hard time convincing me that that is not something that is good for me. So, and then I was like telling, it was shown in that film, and look at that, like it's not it was like really nice. When I saw that on the screen, I was very much influenced by that I just wanted to try out that style. And then my dad said, because whenever it is hard for my mom to convince me with something, it's always my dad's responsibility to take on it. I think that's how partnership work, and that I understood after after having a family of my own. So my dad called me in, and he said that you can be dreamy, but at the same time you will have to see things too, because in film it's a character's life, or a character's whole thing is being shown for 2 hours, and within 2 hours they can only fit in a certain aspect of a character's life. That doesn't mean that you don't know what is going to happen to that character after the movie. And even when they are showing a transformation, or the character change of that particular protagonist is happening within the 2 hours, but in reality we don't know, like how much time it actually take a person to change, because it will not happen in 2 hours. Don't expect immediate. I think what he was trying to tell me was that when you are faced with a problem or challenge, or you don't expect that immediate resolution, because you will have that tendency to have that immediate resolution happening. But most of the time in real life, that resolution may not happen immediately. Like for your problems, you cannot find solution in an hour or 2 hour, or in a day or 2 day. It might take like maybe it might take a day too, but sometimes it might take years for your problem, for you to find solution to that problem. So it's all about patience. Like in life you have to trust in a timing. Like you he always used to tell me this, like, always trust in the timing, have patience. And he also used to tell me, like, the story of a goat. These are some of the stories my dad told me, and it always stuck in my head every time. Like, at that time when he used to tell me all these things, it really didn't make any sense to me, so I would completely disregard it. But now, as I'm growing up, each of those stories, I now know it hold the value. Every time when I'm in a situation, these kind of like stories come to my mind, and the sense of comfort that it gives me and the sense of strength that gives me, it's tremendous. So yeah, that's what I was telling about the cinema and the childhood. Yeah, I was very dreamy, and it makes sense. What my dad said do make sense. Like, for me now, when I'm thinking back, because nothing happens as we expect. Like, we have to trust that timing and really be patient. Like, the other story that he shared about patience is like, friends, yes, that is also true. Like, when you have real friends, like, even if it is a one friend, that is also a form of happiness, because, we are humans, are social beings, we need other person to be. Yes, because, just imagine me living in an island with nobody. And, even if I have, like, money, even if I have, like, the nicest house or the nicest dress, I cannot be truly happy. I should Happiness become that real happiness when you share it with somebody, right? So I agree with that too. Yes, thank you for sharing that, Morgan. So that is also something, yes, that, because, sometimes I do, as Manny mentioned, like, it's a balance between the two. Sometimes, like, we should take time for ourselves. That is also a form of happiness. Sometimes we need to share that happiness with other people. That gives it. That's why that's how it becomes special, right? Yes, so I believe in that too. Actually, each and every person that we meet in this life comes in our life to teach us something. Maybe some people will teach us the value of love, some people will teach us the value of patience, some people will teach us the value of honesty, some people will teach us the value of our emotions. Yes, so true, so true. Like, the day that a man stops like learning, then I would say that is kind of like a deteriorating behavior, because, you have to keep learning, because the world is evolving. See, if you have to keep up with the world, if you have to keep up that relationship, then you have to keep learning. Because, if I need to have a healthy bond with my son, who is like how many years younger than me, like, if I have to keep up with him and understand him, I have to learn his language, because my language may not be his language. So I have to learn it. Like, so it is very true. Share my things to who need that. Yes, yes, sometimes that is what the world is lacking at the moment, and I'm very happy, like, somebody is saying that world is having that problem. How many people do have your heart? I greatly appreciate you for being that empathetic. Seriously, like, how many people do have that, at least in the mentality. I feel like friends or family. Yes, because, family is a blessing. Not many people do have that blessing. Like, my dad used to tell me, like, every relationship that you have in your life is actually a blessing, because, think of all the things that is happening in this world. So we are all blessed to have that good people around us. That is also something, a biggest blessing, right? Think of all the horror stories and crime files that you hear about. Being surrounded by good people is also a form of happiness. Yes, I do believe in that too, because, if you are whatever you have, if you are in the midst of like some extremely bad people, then we cannot be happy. Yes, that is true. So our environment do have that influence. Yes. Take care, Morgan. Talk to you soon. Yes, so that is really something. Bye bye. See you. All the very best and stay happy and safe. Yes. So every people that we meet in this life, we should be grateful of, because I believe that too. Like we only this. I don't know about like Thank you. I really don't know. We all know. None of us do know about like what is going to happen to us after this life. So anyone whom we are meeting in this life is just for this lifetime. And see, like so we are meeting them just for this lifetime, and the things that we have to give each other is kindness, right? Because that's how we want to be remembered. That's how I believe it. Like if we can do good, as Nachiket said, like if we do develop that heart, and that's what more of the society need to have. Like these days, unfortunately, like we kind of like tend to stick around the four walls of our home. Like we the world has grown to a point that you know we are hesitant to trust anybody outside of the family, or outside of like you know I don't know how I can explain that, but it's like really hard to do that. But even if it is hard, if you do have the heart to consider somebody outside of your house as a family and do help them, that's really something that I would say that divine. Because that's where I would talk about God, you know because God, sometimes like sometimes people do ask like does God really exist? And if like if he exists, like why is he not showing in my life? And but sometimes God take different forms in our life. Yes, Nachiket, like that is also something that I was telling that too. Like because we yeah, any relationship is a blessing. Sometimes like our family will be so supportive sometimes, because what are the things that's happening around the world. So sometimes, unfortunately, some people have to. We cannot depend on anyone for our emotional dependency is something that it's a very fine line. We cannot emotionally too much emotionally dependent on other people, because at some point in life there is no relationship have ever existed where people keep each other happy. There will be at least some point in our life that we fail the people whom we love, and it may be knowingly or unknowingly that will happen. So that's like that is unavoidable. Like I haven't ever met anyone in this life who has not been hurt by a person whom they love, because that do happen. So at that time when it happened, it will be like unbearable. That gives you an unbearable pain, but you have to go through it. Because and at the end of that, some people grow emotionally distant. That is also not healthy. So what you said is ultimately right. Like if you love yourself, you can move on, and that will not affect you as a person. So yes, it's all God's plan. Yes, because sometimes God want you to teach you something, and God is trying to tell you something, and God is preparing you for something great. So just like the way that diamond is the most valuable thing, and that and diamond, they are saying that it's found closer to the layer of earth core where the temperature is the maximum. So when you are faced to the extreme hardness, that means like you are being prepared for something great, you are turning into something valuable. So so that I really believe in that too. Yes, Henry. So, but are we doing it? No, no, Manny, like, when you are saying what, but are we doing it? What were you referring to? Are we practicing that, like, loving others, loving strangers? That's the unfortunate part of the society, because, we want to help people about giving others. Yes, because that's what I was like telling too, because we are in a world where like we believe like there is only finite resources, but that is not the truth. In this world there is enough for everyone, like, but it takes, it can start from our home, like, we can start teaching people within, we can, when you want to have a massive change in the society, many people ask, as a single person, what can I do? what i what I have read about and what I have seen is that it can start with just that single person. If you are able to convince your family to do that, then you are setting an example within your family. And then if your family, that one person can influence another person, and it become a ripple effect. It may not be like a very massive, but it can start some ripple effect in and compounded effect in the society. So even a single person can bring about change. It's I am right now in Canada and it's night over here. It's about 10 o'clock at night. I was like writing something, and all of a sudden, like, I thought, I was writing about happiness, and then I just was like, whole through today, like, for some reason I was thinking about happiness, because in random social media I heard about like happiness. And then I was like thinking all through the day, like, what exactly is happiness for different people. This is for me. So I just wanted to come, and today I did had, like, I went out to have dinner with a friend, and when I came home, like, my family got settled in, so I did had some time at hand. So I thought, why not I use this as an opportunity to talk to my community and see how people think about happiness. Okay, so I think now we had our enough conversation. If you do like me coming online like this, and if you had, if you find any value in us chatting about different topics like this, please do comment in my community tab, and we can and discuss, post your topic of interest in there, and we can come online like this, we can meet like this and discuss about it. I really would love to host such sessions, like, where we can come in and talk about different things. What I wrote is like, I have a book. This is my book. I used to write, when I was in my school and college, and then I kind of like dropped that hobby altogether. And now I restarted it, and this was the name of the book, when I used to have that journal, I named it this. So recently I started picking back again and, started writing about, like, random things that comes to my mind. Sometimes growing up, I was a very introverted person, and I thought like I used to express more in writing than in words. And that's where as I mentioned, I was a very dreamy person, and I used to kind of like, think about things and, go in and deeply think about things. And whenever I think that, I used to be in a very different mental state. And then that's when my mom started telling me, like, when I was like feeling very overwhelmed with so many questions and so many thoughts, she asked me to write. And when I started writing it, I really enjoyed that process. And now, and after a bit, like, when I was in my college, then my life was taking a very hard turn, I would say. Like, that was the deepest, darkest phase of my life, I would say. I was trying to fit in, I was trying to blend in, but nothing was happening. I was having, as I mentioned, as you mentioned, I was, I always felt I'm in the wrong place, with a wrong place, not being myself. And then I was like, I completely dropped this hobby. I completely, like, left it. And now I started re picking the things that I used to love. And this was something this year I thought, like, this would be something that I would do for myself. And here I am doing it. Okay, and if you guys love us continuing talks like this, do post your interesting, like, interesting topics over there, and we will take one topic, pick one topic, and talk about it. And we will. And Manny, so much thank you for suggesting that book. I will be reading that book. And also, one other subscriber of mine shared a very interesting video with me, and that's also something that we would discuss in thank you very much, Manny. We will discuss in the chats like this. Please do use my community tab, like, you post, and, like, I would I would I would really love to read it. I really love to read it. Yes, Manny, please do share it. Yes. I am trying to grow a community of, like, like-minded people, where we can talk, we can pick topics like this, random topics like this, and discuss. I really love doing that. Okay, so now I will take a leave, and please do come and, post your thoughts in the in the community tab. We will pick a topic, and we will kind of like, choose a date and time, like, that works for everybody, and we will start discussing topics like this. So thank you for joining and, making this session very, very vibrant. I really loved talking to all of you. Okay. So you can take a picture of your writing, and you can post it in the community tab, and we can use a Google Lens to translate it, and then we can read that too. Hope we meet again. Please do be part of my community. Okay, take care. Bye bye. Have a wonderful day, and stay safe, stay happy. See you all. Bye bye. Bye.